Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Vishwajit Nath. Today I am going to discuss about diamagnetic substance, paramagnetic substance and ferromagnetic substances. Okay. Diamagnetic substances are those substances which are slightly repelled by the applied magnetic field. Okay. These are known as the diamagnetic substance. That is, when we place some diamagnetic material inside a U-tube, and we place a strong bar magnet near to one side of the U-tube, then the diamagnetic substance is repelled by this magnetic field and moves away to the another arm of the U-tube. Okay. These substances are known as diamagnetic substances. That is, diamagnetic substances are slightly repelled by the external magnetic field. The example of diamagnetic substances are gold, silver, copper, water, hydrogen, etc. There are some properties of diamagnetic substances like the magnetic susceptibility, that is IM, does not depend on the temperature of that material or of that substance. The value of magnetic permeability, that is mu, and magnetic susceptibility is IM, do not depend on the applied magnetic field, that is H. The magnetic permeability, that is mu, is less than 1. The magnetic susceptibility is negative, that is less than 0. When we place some diamagnetic substance inside a uniform magnetic field, then the lines of force of the magnetic field try to avoid the diamagnetic substance. Okay. I think you understand the discussion about diamagnetic substance. Paramagnetic substances. Paramagnetic substances are those substances which are slightly attracted by the applied magnetic field. Okay. That is, when we place some paramagnetic substance inside a U-tube and we hold a strong bar magnet, then these paramagnetic substances are slightly attracted by the bar magnet. Okay. That is, paramagnetic substances are try to move towards the magnetic field. Okay. There are the example of paramagnetic substances are aluminum, tin, sodium, etc. There are some characteristics of paramagnetic substance like magnetic susceptibility Xi is inversely proportional to the temperature of that substance in Kelvin scale. That is, Xi is inversely proportional to 1/T. The magnetic permeability mu and value of Xi, that is magnetic susceptibility, do not depend on the applied magnetic field, that is H. Magnetic susceptibility mu is greater than 1 and value of Xi is less than 1 but greater than 0. That is, value of magnetic susceptibility is slightly positive. Okay. That is, when we place a paramagnetic material like tin, okay, or aluminum inside a uniform magnetic field, then the magnetic lines of force try to move through the paramagnetic substance. That's why the value of mu is greater than 1. Okay. But the paramagnetic substance has no Curie point. Ferromagnetic substances. Ferromagnetic substances are those substances which are highly attracted by the magnetic field. Okay, and these ferromagnetic substances can easily be converted into magnet. Okay, like iron, cobalt, nickel, etc. The magnetic susceptibility Xm is related to this relation with the temperature. That is, Xm is equal to C by T minus Tc, where C is the constant and Tc is known as Curie point of the substance and T is the temperature of the ferromagnetic substance. And you may ask me that what is Curie temperature or Curie point? You know that when a ferromagnetic substance or magnet is heated up, then after some temperature it completely lost its own magnetic property. This temperature is known as Curie point. This is denoted by Tc. Okay, and the value of mu and Xm depend on the applied magnetic field H. That is, magnetic permeability and magnetic susceptibility depend on the applied magnetic field H. Here, the value of mu is excessively greater than 1 and value of Xm is greater than 1. Okay, that is when we place a ferromagnetic substance inside a uniform magnetic field, then the magnetic lines of force try to pass through the ferromagnetic material. That is, the density of magnetic lines of force inside the ferromagnetic material is very much high with respect to the density of magnetic lines of force outside the ferromagnetic material. Okay, that's why mu is excessively greater than 1. Now, hysteresis. You know that when a magnet is brought near to a iron, then the iron takes some time to magnetize, okay, and to induced, and after increasing the strength of the applied magnetic field, then the intensity of induced magnetic field is also increased, and after some time or after some limit, the intensity of magnetic field of the iron or magnetic material gets saturated. Okay, then if we reverse the value of the applied magnetic field gradually from its height maximum point to 0, then the intensity of induced magnetic field also decreases, but not linearly. Okay, when after some time, when the value of applied magnetic field becomes 0, but value of induced magnetic field will not be equal to 0. Okay, and the relation between B value B, that is intensity of induced magnetic field, and the H, that is applied magnetic field, are related to a curve which is known as hysteresis curve, and this phenomena is known as hysteresis. Okay, and this loop is known as hysteresis loop. Here we draw a curve between M and H. Here M is denoted by intensity of magnetization. Okay, that is when H is 0, then value of M, that is intensity of magnetization, is also 0. When H is gradually increases, then value of M is also gradually increases along the curve way, and after some time at the point A, the value of M becomes maximum. This is known as magnetic saturation. This is known as magnetic saturation at the point A. Then we gradually decreases the value of H. and the value of m also gradually decreases, but not along the path AO. Okay. After some time, when the value of h is equal to 0, the value of b will not be equal to 0. Okay. There is some value of m that is equal to OB. Now the value of h becomes reverse, and after some value of reversed h, the value of m becomes 0 at the point C. Then increasing the value of h in reverse direction, the value of m also increases in reverse direction. At the point D, it becomes saturated. That is, the value of m becomes maximum. Now h is also now in the h is also increases along the first direction. Then the value of m also decreases and moves towards 0 along DEF path. And again, with increasing the value of h, the value of m also increases, and after some time it reaches at the point A, that is magnetic saturation. This phenomena is known as hysteresis, and this curve is known as hysteresis curve or hysteresis loop. Okay, that is, the value of m or value of b not decreases or not increases linearly with the value of applied magnetic field H. That is, there is some lag or there is some phase difference between M and H or between B and H. Okay, this lag is also known as hysteresis, and due to this lag or there is some energy loss. Okay, and this loss of energy is equal to the mu 0 into area of the MH loop. Okay, this loss of energy is equal to mu 0 into MH loop. This is known as hysteresis loss. For a soft iron, this area of the curve is very small, and for steel, the area of the curve is high. That's why in transformer or in calling bell we use soft iron. Okay, that is, soft iron can easily be converted into magnet or induced magnet and easily be transformed into its initial state. Okay, that's why soft iron is used in transformer or in calling bell. Okay, but when we induced a steel, then the steel is tendency to be a permanent magnet. That's why steel is a bad choice for making transformer. I think you got the point, and I think you understand today's topic. If you like my video, then please click the like button and please subscribe my channel. Your subscription encourage me to go proceed and go further and make better video. Please subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you for watching my video and have a nice day.